Welcome here to the Mclaren F1 video where we talk about the Mclaren F1. Now before we get into the road car Mclaren F1, if you tell somebody a Mclaren F1, they have a chance of thinking of this car, which here is the McLaren Mercedes Formula 1 car for 2014. This car is just absolute crazy racing car, obviously, as you can tell with it. And here in America we have NASCAR, which is more popular, but we do have Formula 1 races here. But in Europe and other countries in the world, Formula 1 cars is a big thing. So if you're watching other countries, there you go. And obviously here in America we have NASCAR, which is what's popular. But we're not here to talk about this car. We're here to talk about, when somebody says McLaren F1, to me, what I think of. If somebody says, yes, McLaren F1, brilliant car, here's what I think of. I think of this, which is the McLaren F1 road car. So it's not the McLaren F1 Formula 1. This thing here goes on the road. So it's a supercar. Now, ready for some information about the McLaren F1. Right, this car here was made from 1990 to 1998 in England. Since McLaren is a British company. This car here could go 243 miles an hour. And at its time in 92 and 98, that was, when did it set the record actually? 1998. March 31st. So that would only be a few days ago from when this video is uploaded. Now this car, in its time, was crazy. Crazy fast, crazy powerful, and very, very fast. Now, still up there in the top ranks with other great supercars. This car, at its top speed, is only just a little bit faster than a Bugatti Veyron, which everybody knows to be the world's fastest car, but it actually isn't, because the Hennessy Venom. So this car here can go 240. The Hennessy Venom can go 270 at the top speed. So that's only really 40-mile-an-hour difference. But before, the Veyron could go, well, the Super Sport said it does 67, but the basic Veyron, which is more common than the Super Sport, because they only made 20 Super Sport, but the basic Veyron that they made a bunch of could only go 250, 354, something like that. So it's not really much slower than a Bugatti. Same thing with the Huayra. So you're getting all up there in the main fast cars that this one here still can keep up with. It can keep up with a Veyron and a Huayra if you put it in a race. I mean, obviously, it wouldn't be as fast, but it still is crazy fast. They made 106 cars. And actually some of them which had a bit different design to them all. The engine was lined with gold because it could do something with the heat. I forgot what it was. But this, obviously some of the information I get on the computer. And this is right here in August 2013. There's one of these McLaren with chassis 066. Which sold for a record price of $847 million for that. This one here was also, it was considered, in the design that they hoped that it would be considered the ultimate road car. And then it wasn't even designed for the racetrack, but then they had modified race editions, and they won a bunch of races. Now let's see, what else is there to say about this car? Well, this one here is very special because it has 3-row seating. So if you look inside of the car, it actually has 3 rows of seats. Obviously. And it had a special gearbox that couldn't handle the, well, they had to make a gearbox that could handle the power of the engine. Okay. Let me zoom in on this picture that I just found. So it might be a little bit blurry, but it should be good. This here is the Mclaren F1 LM, which stands for Le Mans. That's the LM stands for. This car was a special race modified one they made of the Mclaren F1. Let's talk more about the actual Mclaren. But before we continue, they have the Ameritech Mclaren F1. So in America, they had special ones of it that were made, which had to meet U.S. regulations. The car had to be, so they had stricter emissions, and they had to add weight and reduce the power of it, and they had lack of airbags for the passengers, and only had 1 seat instead of 3. So basically they came to America and had to ruin it. That's the same with many supercars that come to America. They have the Lamborghini Countach with like a massive bumper on the front of the car. It's ruining supercars. So that McLaren LM that I showed you before, they only made 5 McLaren LMs, which are in honor of the 5 McLaren GTRs, which were in the race of the Le Mans of the 24-hour, and that represents the 5 that were in it, like I just said. So they made a bunch of cars, really. Really brilliant car. It truly is one of the best, and it's actually on my calendar in the YouTube studio for this month. So coming up in May, we will feature the McLaren P1 on the wall. I mean the F1, not the P1. The P1 will be mentioned in about a minute. But this car, we're still talking about. So we're going to have the picture on the wall once it's done, because I'll cut it off the calendar. This car had 4 doors. 2 for the passenger. Now one issue is that you had to climb over the seat here and there to get to the middle. Obviously not in the Ameritech one, because you can just get to the middle. Other cars that feature 1 seat, like the Ameritech McLaren F1, was, oh yes, the Lamborghini Egoista, which if you watch our special for this series, you'll know about, or just look it up, Lamborghini Egoista. Egoista, which is Italian for selfish. But let's get back to this. Door. Here, 2 doors. That's the back where you can sort of get to the engine, put some stuff in. And actually right there is a cutout door that you can also put some stuff in it. So you can sort of put a lot of stuff into your McLaren. Okay. No, cast the thing. Right, here's the next one. Here's a slightly sort of modified looking McLaren F1. In 2013, McLaren had finally made a replacement for the F1, which hadn't been in production for a long time when they came out for the replacement. This car here is the Mclaren P1. So let's find this on the magazine. I think I should know where it is. Okay. But anyways, this car here is a hybrid. It's a hybrid supercar, so they sort of got all in the hybrid stuff. Here it is. The Mclaren F1. H42. Hold on. Before. So there's a 42. The 2014 McLaren P1. They already sold all of them, and they sold for $1,001,500. It's a 3.8 liter hybrid V8, 103 horsepower, which is combined between the two engines, and the top speed is 217 miles an hour. Now between the two engines, it can get about 100, 200 out of the batteries, and it can get the rest of its power from its gas-powered engine. So overall, Mclaren has taken the final video of Supercars with Curtis for Season 1. See you back for Season 2, where we continue to review great and awesome and crazy cool supercars. That'll be next week, so don't really have to worry.